I'm Chris Tico with Seattle Magazine, and I'm here in the studio with Bumbershoot artist Fly Moon Royalty. Let's dive in a bit to their Bumbershoot memories and find out what's on the horizon for these two. All right, now that we have you both here together, what was your first Bumbershoot memory?
I was 9, and Sir Mix-a-Lot opened for Parliament, and I got dragged over one of those turnstiles, that was called, a turnstile.
Oh, yeah.
Got dragged over it because then it was like you open a door and everyone just rushes in. Got dragged. And then we were at the gate at the very front of the stage. I sat on my uncle's shoulders. Bootsy Collins was on the bass and some wild dude in a diaper and George Clinton going so hard. And afterwards, my uncle and all like Gerald Turner and those guys, like they all took us backstage and we met George Clinton. He signed my arm. That was first time. And
Bootsy's playing.
It's like a full circle. Oh, man. I got to finagle some way. Just back behind the curtain. Make that happen.
And Mike?
Mine wasn't until actually, well, sort of a shorter full circle. The first time I went to Bumbershoot was when I visited Seattle before I moved here. Wu-Tang was playing. And they were playing again this year. I mean, this was only back in 2007, but, you know, all right. That was my first memory. It was a great show.
And who are you most excited to see perform this year?
I mean, obviously, Bootsy. But same day as us, Wu-Tang.
Danny Brown.
Yeah, Danny Brown's playing same day as us. I'm actually excited to see Janine Garofalo. She's doing comedy.
Oh.
All 3 days. Yeah. I mean, I'd want to see all 3 days. And Luscious Jackson is playing, and I loved Fever In, Fever Out. Whole album by heart.
All right, your musical style has been described as a mixture of electronica, soul, R&B, and hip-hop. So who are some of your biggest musical influences?
Definitely Sharon Jones, my spirit animal. A lot of Prince and Shaka and Mary J. Blige and Total, like anything that came from the 90s, like the earlier 90s, like 92, 94. And I love like a lot of old soul. It's a lot of old R&B, 80s stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say the same for me. Like 90s era hip-hop is what I grew up listening to, why I just kind of fell in love with that. And that's why I started DJing and then started making beats. And a lot of hip-hop. Bjork actually is a huge, I would say is a huge influence. I'm just a huge fan of her music in that it just completely exists in its own orbit. And I like music like that. I mean, because there's nothing else like it. A lot of old soul. When I listen to old recordings, there's like, you know, what I love about like Sharon Jones and Lee Fields and a lot of their recordings is a lot of the music in there. They're using some of those old amps, old microphones. Just there's a sound, there's a difference to it, there's a dust on it. That's like, that texture when you listen to those old records. That's why sampling, I thought was such a beautiful thing because you still had these little nuances that are from that old era, flipped into a harder, a little stronger flavor. That's why 90s hip-hop was my favorite.
So I'm assuming then we can probably find you on Saturdays and Sundays going through Easy Street or Sonic Boom, the vinyl sections, looking for some of those old classics.
Sure, I spent a lot of time doing that. Not as much these days, but I'm always sort of trying to find places for all my records to go. That's just, you know, it's not a huge collection, but my early DJing days, it was always looking for the, you know, before I learned how to make beats, I started DJing, and I just was trying to figure out, because I didn't really know how to even start doing it, so, yeah.
How did you figure that out? What were the next steps?
I bought this piece of equipment that I didn't know how to use, but I had an idea from what I gathered from, like, videos and album covers is this MPC 2000. I remember this behemoth, and I'm like, I have no idea, but I think I can probably make beats with it. So I was just going through this little music program, and then I found one on eBay, and then I just started experimenting. I taught myself how to sample. I was like, oh, okay, and then I started quantizing beats, and I was like, oh, okay, sampling drums. I like that kick snare. I'm going to steal that. A little sample, here's a little riff. And then I just like with DJing, did the same thing. I spent a lot of time by myself in my room playing with it. And then...
And Audrey, you got your start in musical theater, right? So how did you kind of graduate or escalate to the next level?
For the most part, I started hanging out with some club DJs, and I had invited a handful of them to come see me sing a cappella in like a theater project that I was doing that was having a fundraiser. And that's pretty much the exact way that happened. They came, they heard me sing, and like, you know, the girl who I was formerly in the band with, like, we were already kicking it real tough, and she would be like, come riff on some of my stuff. And we would just like do DJ host sets, and I'd just be riffing all day. And then we just started, you know, like kind of writing our own stuff together. And around that time is when I met Mike, and we didn't have a producer. So it was like, ding.
Well done.
Really, that it's like it all kind of happened in the same like snatch. It was like, shh. Just everything got pulled up at the same time. It's like, oh, it's like a win at life right now.
All right. Well, recently you released your EP, Unfinished Business. When can we expect the full album?
That's a tough question. We do have a lot of material. Audra and I don't really stop working. We're always working on new stuff. We are going to be re-releasing Unfinished Business, a special edition in September. And it's going to have instrumentals to all the songs. It's going to have a remix of Piece of Me. It's going to have all the lyrics, and it's going to have an unreleased song on it, a whole different unreleased song. So we'll be pushing that out in September. But as far as, and then we're going to be hitting the road and touring and sort of, you know, servicing that re-release as we tour pretty much most of the U.S. And then as far as a full album, the jury's still out on that. We have the material. We're just sort of trying to time things out and calculate it out right as we start to sort of build our fan base. So then when we can release, in my opinion, some of the best music that we've made that no one's heard yet. So can't answer that one just right yet.
All right. Well, you did mention something exciting that you have coming up with the Seahawks. Can you tell me a little bit about that program or what you guys are involved with?
We're doing Battle of the Bands, and we are going to win. I'm just gonna say that. When we win, then you'll get to play halftime show December 28th. I don't remember who it's versus, but basically you play these pregame shows at Touchdown City, and it's like, I think it's just home games. The one that we do, it's us versus our friends Grizzle Mighty, and I'm just gonna apologize now for Hulk smashing on them. I love them guys. It's love.
And totally.
And afterwards, you know, to the victor, the spoils, but there'll be hugs and stuff.
We are playing, I don't know if you said it, we are playing September 21st, and the Seahawks are playing against the Denver Broncos. This actually, obviously we really want to win. We feel very confident. But we ultimately, there's a voting process too, and so after the game, people will be able to go online and vote, and so part of what we're going to be doing while we're on the road, while driving, is posting, just kidding, but we're going to have to rally as much our fans and supporters to vote for that. So that'll really is what's going to decide. All
right. Well, we here at Seattle Magazine are huge fans of you guys. Thank you so much for sitting down with us. But tell everybody where they can catch the next show, which is, of course, at Bumbershoot. But when and where are you playing?
11:45.
Fisher Green stage.
It's going to be coffee.
We're supplying free coffee. It's 11:45. It's the morning show. We're the first act. So we're going to bribe you with free coffee.
Yeah. We'll be there.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys.